let's go ahead and start, everybody. And I think pretty much everybody here has been in multiple Zen Peacemaker online sessions, and you know how most of those go. Sorry if I'm a little distracted. I'm also the doorman here for a while, so and people are still coming in. What a great group. Today will be a little bit different. We will be much more casual and informal. I really want this to be conversational. This is really meant and intended, my intention was to offer something to those folks who are considering attending the Auschwitz Birkenau Bearing Witness Retreat, or maybe who have attended once before but may have questions. And my motive is to draw on friends of ours who have a lot of experience at Auschwitz Birkenau, and to have them share a little bit about their personal experience, but then try to reserve most of the time for any questions anybody here has about the retreat. So that's our purpose here today. And I'm so delighted I put out my request, and my friends Undine Bismeyer from Germany and Mikko Ihas from Helsinki, Finland, and Koho Mello from Switzerland, and Grover Gaunt from New York City are all here with, as I said, rich experience, probably, I don't know, collectively 100 years maybe, or close to that. And I did not prompt him, so I don't want to put David Birnbaum on the spot. But David, at some point, your perspective too will be really rich. It always brings tears to my eyes and warms my heart to hear you, as it's doing right now, to hear you talk about this retreat. So I heartily invite you to join here too. So anybody here I don't know, my name's Jeff O'Keefe. I'm the titular executive director of Zen Peacemakers. I say titular because this is your organization. So, and we are one body in this organization. So I welcome you as co-leaders here. And what I'm going to do to start, other than continue to monitor the door, is ask each of our guests to just share something about the retreat, more on the personal side, much less, if at all, on the logistical side, but whatever comes up, whatever occurs to you. And Undina, I think you may be one of the newer participants at the retreat. Would you mind beginning?
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Thanks.
Hello, everybody. My name is Undine. I'm coming from Germany. I'm sitting here in Germany in the city of Karlsruhe. And I'm one of the 4 spirit holders of the Auschwitz retreat. And I would like to speak about how it was for me to come the first time to the Auschwitz retreat, or how it was before. Maybe you're in the same situation now. And I was very excited to go there. I had many questions. What will it be like there? Yeah. Will I be strong enough? Am I prepared enough? I read a lot of books and I asked everybody who's been there. And there was another big question. I also asked myself, why do I go there? Yeah. The questions should bring me from the not knowing to the knowing. I wanted to know everything before I go there. Yeah. And so I had a lot of ideas and expectations how it could be there. I had a clear expectation how it will be to sit on the selection side. I had an expectation that I surely will be excluded from the others because I'm German and I'm from the side of perpetrators. And when I went to Auschwitz for the first time, for the second time, I had the expectations I know everything about the place. And when we entered the camp for the first day, we don't go through the main entrance, but a little bit on the side. And I went in and thought, I know how it would be like, and I'm just cool and looking at the beginners. And it was totally different. It was a very big sadness came about me and came over me, and it was really, really hard for me to go there. Auschwitz told me to forget my expectations. Yeah, it was nothing was so how I expected it. And what my experience was to let go my expectations, to just let them go and to jump into it. And that was really good. And what helped me very much was the group of the participants. Yeah, it was always a large group. It were always people I didn't know. Now I know a little bit more people. Yeah, in the beginning, for the first time, every man was a stranger. And what I was really surprised how big the solidarity in the group is. And there's a very great openness to each other. And it seemed to me like it's a living organism. Yeah, I don't know if that's the real word, but it's a whole group and a living organism. Yeah. This helped me to go my own process with the ups and downs in the retreat, but I also had the feeling we are going as a group together, and that let me feel safe and gives me energy, and I've always felt supported by the group. Then there are the small council groups. I don't know if you are familiar with the council groups the Zen Peacemakers do, but maybe short we can say we meet in the morning before breakfast. It's a small group, 8 to 10 people with 2 facilitators, and we share our feelings and we listen from the heart and we speak from the heart. And I knew the groups before. We did it in Germany too, but it was very special, and it is very special in Auschwitz. Yeah. It's very deep, I would say. It's very intensive, and it has a special quality in listening. The most important for me, what happened in Auschwitz, I would say, is that it opened my heart. I developed such a compassion I never had before. In Zen, we have meditation periods called session, yeah, that are several days, 5, 6, 7 days. We sit in silence, just for ourselves, sit, doing nothing, don't have eye contact with the others. And that is something that can open your heart too. Or we say it makes, it touches the heart mind, Shin in Chinese. It touches the heart mind. And for me, in Auschwitz, this touching of heart mind or opening the heart was much more intensive than in any session I had before. Of course, we come very close to suffering at that place. And suffering is something we don't want. We would like to deny it. It's not pleasant. But there we come in contact with it. And this contact with the suffering, that is the reason I think we develop so much compassion there. It was for me this way. That's what I never thought this was. And compassion, listening to others, and respect for the diversity of other people is what we need in our times more than ever, I think. You know, we have times very violent and war. And for me, the retreat gives the power and motivation to act in my word today when I come back from the retreat with and is some people say, why do you go to Auschwitz? It's so in the past, and we have places now where we have to do more important. I don't think that it's so that you can say that. I feel a very strong connection between past and today when I bring compassion and listening from the heart in my words today when I come home from retreat. Yeah. And I would say that Auschwitz retreat is not only and not about the past, it's about now. And now, when I'm now, then I can change the world and influence the world. The past I cannot change, but in the now I can change. And that's the great power. I'm thankful for Auschwitz retreat. And I hope I will see some of you or all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, and Dean, I really appreciate what you said, particularly, I think there is this misunderstanding that this is about those events of the 30s and 40s, and it's not about us in the present moment. And I appreciate that you mentioned that. We've had a few more people arrive. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to go to Miko, if you don't mind, Miko. We'll go from Germany to Finland.
My pleasure. Thank you, Jeff, for inviting me. My name is Mikko. Yes, I'm a Zen teacher, a sensei from Helsinki, and we have a group here called Helsinki Zen Peacemakers Finland, and we are one of the affiliate groups of Zen Peacemakers International. I'm still a student of my teacher Frank de Valeroshi from Belgium, from Ghent, Belgium, and in 2017, I got a call from Zen Peacemakers International asking that whether I would be willing to come to the Auschwitz retreat. And so far, I had been involved with some other programs of the Zen Peacemakers, and I was quite hesitant in the beginning because I felt that I don't have a personal connection to Auschwitz or the Holocaust. Finland was one of the rare countries during the Second World War that we didn't really participate the Holocaust. Finland only handed out 8 Jewish refugees to the Gestapo during the war, and it was the head of Helsinki's police that was kind of like Nazi sympathizer, so he did it personally. It wasn't really a governmental decision, but it's a kind of sad fact of Finland. And we fought along with the Germans against the Soviet Union, who first attacked Finland in 1939. And Germany was pretty much the only ally that we could get at that moment. So that's a part of our Finnish history regarding that. But I didn't really feel that I had a personal connection to Auschwitz. So I was a bit hesitant first, but then again, I really wanted to kind of respect the history of the Zen Peacemakers and really go there and see what it's about. And I was really moved by the experience. I was really kind of detached at the beginning from everything that had happened from during that time that Auschwitz was functional. But it was the first day that I was at Birkenau that there was this very cold wind. And I remember standing there next to the gas chambers and looking back to the gate along the railway. And this cold wind that kind of blew. And it felt that it didn't blow through my clothes, but it blew through my being and my soul and so forth. And it really felt that there was this kind of like breeze of ghosts that went through me. And that really changed the whole experience of the retreat. It really felt that we were standing in the biggest cemetery in the world. And bearing witness to that experience for the whole week, it was really, really touching. But during the week, as we were sitting at the selection site, the thing that really kind of mostly went through my mind was humor. And on the last day, I was asked that there is a Shabbat dinner on the last evening, and then after that there is an open mic event, and whether I would like to host the event. And I said, yeah, sure. And I kind of went in myself, and I found this kind of clown persona from myself, and I did this whole clown act on the last evening. It was really, really funny. And well, I'm looking at myself from outside of myself when I see it was funny. I don't know about other people, but I think I lowered the bar that much that it was easier for the others to perform after me. So I've done that every year after that. So that was 2017, and I've been to Auschwitz almost every year after that. 1 year was COVID, and on 2 years I didn't participate the Zen Peacemakers retreat, but there was another retreat in 23 during summertime that was held by my teacher Frank de Valeroshi and Ginny Stern, that was one of the kind of active members of the Zen Peacemakers International. And it was a kind of different experience because they invited lots of people that had really kind of close personal connection to the place. So it was a little bit different vibe, and also Frank students from Netherlands and Belgium. And that was a different vibe. And during that time, I was invited to hold a ceremony for a person who had been to Birkenau. And it was this person's daughter that asked me that whether I could hold a ceremony. And she told me the story that her parents had been to Birkenau when they were teenagers. And her mother came to Birkenau, and her first job was to deliver a sandwich to a Nazi officer. And she went to the kitchen and to get a sandwich from the kitchen, and she met her future husband on that time. And then she took the sandwich and went to the officer's room, and I was asked to take a bite of the sandwich to see if it was not poisoned, and then hand out the sandwich. And we hold that ceremony for this woman that served the sandwich on that room. It was really moving. And it was difficult for her because she felt that the experience had traumatized her mother so severely that she had not been a kind of nice mother. So it was really difficult for her, but she felt that it was important to have that experience and to have some sort of kind of closure to that. And on one of the retreats was kind of interesting. There was two Lakota elders on that retreat, and I really wanted to kind of get some sort of connection with the Lakotas. And on the first morning that we were having our breakfast, that I went to sit next to this one Lakota elder, and the first 20 minutes of the breakfast are in silence, and then the silence broke, and this man, Manny Ironhawk, took my hand and told me that it's a great privilege to meet a Finnish man. It was interesting. And I feel that we shared so many things together with him, and because our culture is kind of different too. So it's really, really important to spend those moments with Manny. And then on that retreat, I realized that going to Auschwitz, I don't go there because of the Holocaust, even though I really think that it's important to keep that in mind as well. as we are in Auschwitz. It doesn't really take that away. But I really feel that I go there to be together with the people who choose to come there. And it creates this kind of like very close, intimate family. And people come from all kinds of backgrounds and different ages and different cultural things that they carry with them, and to share that experience together, it really creates this kind of sense of unity that it's very hard to get anywhere else. There's lots of sadness. I've always kept my door open, so if anyone needs to have a shoulder to cry on, I've always kind of told anyone that my door is always open. And sometimes it happens that someone needs someone to talk to and spend a moment with, and those are important. But also there's lots of laughter, there's lots of humor too, which I really appreciate. But it's a retreat of strong emotions and very close connection with all of us. And I'm really looking forward again to come there and join the retreat. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikko. And for everybody attending, just to let you know, everybody speaking today will be at the retreat. So just to remind you of that. And now let's go to Switzerland and hear from our friend Sensei Ko.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, friends. We never can be sure that we'll be there, Jeff. Life is
That's
impermanent.
true. That's true.
Anyway, so Auschwitz Birkenau. I'm a Brazilian, so I'm living in Switzerland last 15, 16 years, but I'm a Brazilian. And my first Auschwitz Birkenau retreat was 2010, the same year that I did my first street retreat with my wonderful friend and teacher, Genro. He is here somewhere. Because I met Zen Peacemakers at 2000 in Porto Alegre, my city in south of Brazil. The World Social Forum, the plan was to bring Bernie Glassman there to talk about peacemaking, and he was sick. And then Eve was there. And then I was really amazed because I'm ordained as a Soto Zen monk in Japan. But always I felt this need of a way to manifest this search for wisdom in terms of compassion. Maybe because I'm a Brazilian, so relationships and feelings are quite important in my culture. So then the opportunity was alive in 2010, and it was my first time. Since then, almost every year I was there, I think. First thing is, it was my first in-person contact with Bernie Glassman. It was really strong because outside of Birkenau, we have the lunch is outside of the Birkenau, the camp. And I met Bern because he was friend of my teacher in Brazil. And it was really amazing because, I have this idealized idea of a teacher, the founder of Zen Peacemaker Order and so. And I met maybe the most human person that I met in my life. So the acceptance and the openness, it was really unbelievable. And then as participant, I decided to go again. And since then, I'm trying to serve as best as I can the retreat. First, in the first years, like just helping with tasks. It was wonderful. And then little by generosity and trust of my teachers, I was called to play in other roles. A very important point is that in 2018, we start the retreat on Monday. So Sunday we received the news, the notice that Bernie died. So and this was 4 days after my to receive my Dharma transmission, and it was unbelievable because then we did the memorial service in a formal way. I did as a Zen monk at the hotel, and it was something like, okay, life must go on, independent what happens. We are here to follow the path. And one point, in my opinion, my experience, that Auschwitz Birkenau is about our human experiences. And the same that's a place of despair and war is a place of hope, is a place of dignity. Or positive. And there I heard from survivors and people that have lots of experience, that there, in some moments, if you look at the history, you can find the examples of dignity and generosity and compassion. So in terms of experiencing, in my opinion, is a place to recover my wholeness. So to see that there, I can see all the seeds that I have in my heart, mind, and it's my power and my option what I will nourish. And this says to go there every year, trying to serve, as I said before, and to learn every time from different groups and persons and experiences and backgrounds. In a way, is to remember what we as human beings we are capable of, because from Auschwitz-Birkenau we know that. So we are capable of really, really bad things, but at the same time inspire us to do the best that a human being can do. And finally, I remember that in the first retreat, listening for many, many voices, Jewish people, German people, Polish, many others. At some point, I realized that as a Brazilian, I'm impure. I'm absolutely impure. I have no pure blood in my veins. So then it's quite easy to call anyone as my brother or my sister. So this was like an insight that is very important to remember, that I'm not special. I'm not more important than anyone. And that place is a place to remember that this otherness or this fear of the different always can be the source of discrimination, violence, and a tragedy. And more than ever, I think that now we must remember this, and we must apply this in our daily life. And finally, I think that to go to Auschwitz Birkenau is a place to nourish a part of myself that's able to accept and to cultivate relationships. So looking for the screen before, I saw some people that with just a little amount of time, they became great friends. And it's like, how it's possible? I think that because the wide range of our humanity, from the sense of joy for being alive, we have the merits not being there, or not being in a place like that one, place of horror, and also the sense of deep, deep sadness. How can we human beings, how can we do something like happened there? So then in my heart come a sense of power. I can start a new life every moment if I can remember this. But maybe because I'm not so disciplined, I need this kind of experience to remember over and over again that I must take care, I must pay attention, and I must nourish this kind of relationships with human beings that open a space and time and put energy and research to go there and to remember that we are together in this, I would say, longing for peace, for fraternity, for justice, and for love. Why not? Love in a sense that I want the best for every human, for every being. And yeah, this is my experience. And I can't understand, some years is like spring, beautiful, And last year, in some way, also we are quite happy because we have snow. That's this kind of challenge to remember that people that have no clothes, and we are quite, warm and protected. And then in a way, you bear witness that we are here to remember you. We are here to read your names. We are here to say that we never will forget you. So in a way, I think that Auschwitz Birkenau as a retreat is much more like a fertilizer for the compassion in my heart, mind. And because this, as far as I can, I go every year to nourish this seeds in my heart and to serve the retreat in order that can happen always. That's it, I think, my dear friend Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Koho.
Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the opportunity to share.
Thank you for telling your
Koho
story.
is also a great clown.
Do you have your rabbit ears? Do you have your rabbit ears? Okay. And my friend Grover, General Gaunt, thank you for being patient. And thank you for being here. And I think of this group, Genro is probably the one that has attended this retreat for the longest period of time. So, Genro, please go ahead, and I'm going to pin you so we can all see you. There we go.
I can see me too.
And if you'd rather see the group, you can go up and you can choose the group if it's distracting. So,
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Miko and Dine and Koho, everybody who's spoken so far. Beautiful words, and yeah, I really appreciate it, how you shared. Thank you so much. So the first thing I want to talk about is, why should I go? Why should I go to this retreat? And I'm sure there are many here in our call today who are still weighing whether or not you really want to go to Auschwitz in Poland, or a retreat that you can only begin to imagine what might happen there. And Bernie Glassman, just even before he started the Zen Peacemakers, realized that doing what he called plunges were an immense way of opening up the heart and soul and the mind of people. And so the first plunge that he created was the street retreat. And street retreat is a place where people who've never been homeless before have always rejected the homeless because they have fear of them. They're afraid they're going to ask them for money. They're afraid that that could actually happen to them. We avoid homeless people for various reasons. But who would ever imagine that going on the street and being homeless for 1 day, 3 days, 4 days could totally transform your life and how you see yourself as a human being? And the shock is that it truly does. And taking a place that we've never occupied before, we've never been in the world without money, without credit cards, without nice clothes, without some way to portray our identity. When we throw all those things away and we don't have them anymore, suddenly we're naked, and we're the ones who are being rejected by the people who don't want to encounter us because we look homeless, scary. Turns out that being in a plunge like that, where we dive into a place that we have no familiarity with, going into the deep waters, which really means going into deep spirituality, is immensely transforming. in an enormously positive way. Suddenly, all of our preconditioned ideas about who the homeless are, as though there was just one kind of person who's homeless and that term covers them all, we realize that that's completely wrong, and that everybody is a human being just like we are with a story, and that they're all completely approachable, and that you can have conversations with them and within a very short time go into a relationship with these people we've been afraid of all of our lives. So that was his first plunge. The second one was Auschwitz. And when he was there in 1994, at a interfaith retreat where he was representing Buddhism in the United States, and there were many, many spiritual leaders from around the world. They just decided to do it at Auschwitz. I'm not sure who put this conference together, but Bernie had never been there before. And one day he walked onto the ground of Auschwitz and was completely moved and overwhelmed by the spiritual power of the place. Spiritual power of the place. We tend to think of Auschwitz as this iconic place where the worst crime in the world that's ever been committed on a piece of land the size of a large farm could be a spiritually transforming place, or even a place of healing. But he felt that power and realized that the place had that potential. He talked with a friend of his, rabbi, who told him, what's going on there? He says, his rabbi friend told him, the spirits are there. They're still there. And they're not there in any haunting way. They're there to help transform people's lives so that this won't happen again. In any event, Bernie took 2 years to put the first retreat together. He wanted people from every country, as many as possible, all the world's religions, to be represented there. In the first year, we had 150 people who signed up not knowing anything other than Bernie was going to be there, and they were hoping it could be something positive because it was his idea. There was a lot of trust in this great man. And so I was invited to go by Bernie because I was going to be his assistant and executive director of Zen Peacemakers in 1997. And he said, you've got to come to this retreat. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't feel like people have said I had any relationship to the place. I wasn't Jewish. I wasn't German. I didn't have much of an association. I didn't feel, right? It was just my own ideas. I was depressed. That was the last place I wanted to go. And I read some of the books on the reading list, and they were horrifying, right? About what people experienced at that place. And so I was even more depressed, but I went. And I got there, and, we studied the three tenets of the Zen Peacemakers. Most of you, I'm sure, have encountered them one way or another and have studied them to some degree. But when we go to Auschwitz, we don't have to worry about what the three tenets mean, because we're overwhelmed by them and they change our lives completely. We don't have to worry about what not knowing means, because we don't know, because it happens to us. And we don't have to worry about what bearing witness means, because there's nothing to do there but bear witness. And we don't have to worry about what loving action means, because we become transformed by that powerful spiritual place. So the second day I was there, I was still depressed, having a hard time. It's not an easy place to be. There's a lot to see and experience there that just confronts us with the potential of human beings, as Koho said, to be totally inhuman towards one another. And on the third day, we were at the selection site. We're doing some ceremony around crematorium 3, which is on the right side at the end of the tracks. And we're actually singing a Jewish nigun, very lively, happy nigun, which is very, seems inappropriate for that place if you're not in a retreat like ours. So we're being led by this rabbi, beautiful man who passed a few years ago, Don Singer. We're singing this nigun, and we're around the ruins of a crematorium, and suddenly I'm in a vision. I'm having a vision. And I look, and what I'm seeing is the smokestack of that crematorium that doesn't exist anymore. And I'm seeing the smoke coming out, pouring out of that smokestack. And I realize that that's the smoke of my ashes. Completely amazing vision, and completely changed my whole attitude. I'm not sure, I can't put in words what the effect was. It was beyond words. But the next morning, I had another vision too that I forget the whole contents of. So powerful. The next morning, I'm walking. Now it's Thursday. We're on the 4th day of the retreat. And I'm walking, and I'm walking next to Peter Matheson, who was Bernie's first successor. Internationally famous writer, wonderful man. We're walking together. He looks to me and he says, "How are you feeling?" I said, I feel great. And I said to him, "How are you feeling?" He says, "I feel great too." He said to me, "Before I came here, I was depressed." And I said, "So was I." And it's impossible to say how these things happen, other than to say that Auschwitz is a place of immense spiritual power. And if we open ourselves and we get rid of our own ideas and preconceived ideas about everything, and allow ourselves to be moved not only by the place, but by everybody we're in retreat with, which is impossible not to be because we're in close quarters with them most of the time, our lives will change. And we go to plunges so that our lives will transform, so that we will operate more out of not knowing in the future, that we will bear witness and remove the barriers between myself and everybody and everything else. That's what we call seeing myself and the other in myself. These bearing witness retreats have the power to transform us in that powerful way. It's really unchangeable. Thanks be to God. And from not knowing and bearing witness, we become, loving action becomes our life. Because as Koho said, we become love. And love is just the simple outpouring of my selfless desire for the good of you, for the good of everybody that comes into my life. How can I serve you? What can I do for you? That's the power of bearing witness. And yeah, I could speak more, but I think that's enough for now. Thanks for listening. And I hope you can make this decision to come, because it's one of the greatest gifts you can give to yourself in this world. Thank you.
Thank you, Genro. Much appreciated. And when I did my invitation to everybody, I suggested this is just going to be casual and informal, and just speak for a few minutes from the heart. I had no anticipation these statements would have been this rich and this moving. I'm really touched. I did not know, David, are you still here? I did not know that my friend David Birnbaum would be here. David's been to Auschwitz a few times. David, like I said, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you're at all inclined to speak a little bit, I'd love to hear from you. And no is a perfectly good answer.
No, thank you, Jeff. I am surprised at this opportunity. Oh, let me do what I put the back gallery view. I am appreciative of this chance to express myself. Unlike the other speakers, I've only been there once. And I won't be going back again this year. Although my heart, I mean, this is one of the things I don't understand, I don't know, but I feel deeply, is this draw to go back. There is this draw in me to go back. So as I was here, and you gave me the invitation at the start of the session, I've been kind of feeling into what would I want to say. And I'm a little nervous because I did do an interview about my experience for Lion's Roar, and I really told a lot of great truth in that interview, and I wish I remember what I said, but I don't remember what I said and what was in the interview. So here I go. About 25 years ago, I started to get interested in where did I come from? Oh, I get emotional. I was brought up by two Auschwitz survivors who chose not to share their life's history with me. As I've explored this for 25 years, I realize the souls that they were faced unspeakable and unthinkable horrors. And I have a sense that that was the best they could do for me. And yet I felt this need and yearning to know more. So what do I want to tell you about my experience? Oh, there's one piece about that. I wasn't supported in understanding intimacy by my parents. And you know, this, what Coho said about finding the holy through going to Auschwitz and making friends. I have, like Jeff called me his friend. I've never met Jeff, but Miko's my friend. I was in Auschwitz with Miko. Coho's my friend. I was in Auschwitz with Coho. Genro's my friend. I was in Auschwitz with Genro. I feel intimate with those three friends and with you too, Jeff. So what kind of blessing is that to go to Auschwitz and come away learning about how to be intimate with people? I call that finding the humanity in myself. So the 2 points I want to make: touching and turning. The way I was able to do that is to continually turn and face the irreconcilable. On my wall, I've got two pictures from my retreat that Miko took. One is outside the building. I'm not going to go into the details because if you go, I want you to have a fresh experience. But the building where both my parents got their identity stolen from them and tattoos put on their arms that I grew up with and didn't know what that was. So I turned over and over and faced that irreconcilable. And that comes to the day that I am living now. The irreconcilable muscle that I've built looking at the wars in the world, you know, the wars for power, the war against drugs, the war against crime, the war against poverty, the war against others. All the wars are irreconcilable, and I've built a muscle to continue to be able to turn and face that because I went to Auschwitz. The last thing I want to speak to is touch. I think it was Undine mentioned the council practice that is required 4 days out of the retreat experience in Auschwitz. So what happens in there? What happens in the council practice? You sit in a group of a dozen people, you listen, it's a listening practice. You do not directly respond to anybody else's condition, pain, if you will. I believe, though, that we participate with each other and touch each other in the council practice. And I think that is one of the blessings of the retreat, is to come together with a group of people in the irreconcilable and touch each other and grieve together and hold each other and move together in a respectful way. I'll never forget some of the times I was physically touched in my retreat. One time we were walking to the woods and I was walking alone, and I felt somebody put their arm in my elbow. And it was a German woman. And she had her wife or husband's arm enclosed her spouse. So the three of us walked together silently, two German women. Not one word was spoken. They did what Genro was talking about. Loving action. Not the action part wasn't so important. It was the loving part. And I opened myself up to the pain of the German descendants and the pain of the Jewish descendants in that moment. And it's transformed my life. How hard was it for me in the camp? There were a number of times I lost control of my body. I don't want to get dramatic here, but I physically lost control of my body. One time we were in a barracks and Genro was hosting a session in the barracks, and he did his whole spiel, and the people that were presenting did their whole spiel, and he opened it up for people to speak. 100 people. Not one person spoke. And I just felt so bad for Genro, and I'm sitting there, and I've lost control of my body that night. I'm shaking. So somehow I stood up. Tani, the organizer, came over and he helped me walk over to Genro. Genro put his hand on my shoulder And I said something. I have no idea what I said, but the point was that was loving action, not planned. Genro just put his hand on my shoulder. That's it. I mean, he's a little taller than me, so it just was beautiful how that grounded me so that at least I could stand and not fall on my face. Touch out of loving action. Last thing. And this is the real joy of me being in the retreat, that I found my essence, my purpose in my life, at least one of them. And that is to be David Birnbaum and remember, not like Elie Wiesel does or anybody else does, but to remember with the gift that I have, which I believe is as a messenger. And when Genro talked about the experience of being around his vision, being around the crematorium, in the retreat I was in, we were around the ash pond singing Jewish songs to the bardo. And what happened was there was about 100 people. And we kept singing and singing and singing, and all the people around in the forest and all over the place. Some were, in their corners crying out there in the fields and doing their thing. And we brought all 100 people together. 100, and we circled the pond completely. Everybody had to stretch. And, Georgia in her wheelchair had to come over, and we had to, just stretch and stretch. How is that possible? That the loving action brought 100 people together around the ash pond to sing to the bardo. To honor the abrupt loss of life and the system that created that. And I thank Genro today for sharing his vision so that I can see I found my purpose then in that reflection. I think that's what I want to share.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you very much. I want to move into opening it up for questions, but if we could, you can walk your dog. Oh, there's your dog. If we could, let's just be still together for a minute or two here as we transition. Okay, thank you. And it looks like everyone is still here, so much appreciated. So let's open up for questions. And my friend and colleague, Jim Hoden Fricker, is here. And so if you have questions for anybody who spoke, that's wonderful. If you have logistical questions or anything about the mechanics of how you participate in the retreat, Jim's here and he can field those too. So we're a relatively small group. So if you want to just wave your hand or use your electronic hand down below, like that. Either way. So please let's share a little bit. Ask whatever's on your mind. Thanks, Rich. Thanks for coming. I hate to move right into the logistical side of this because that was so warm. But maybe I'll ask Jim just to give us a little guidance about is there still room in the retreat? How long do we have to sign up? How do we get there? It's just
Right.
a few general things like that, Jim, if you don't mind. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. Wonderful to see everyone. And I recognize some new names as well here, people who are attending for the first time. So it's wonderful to put a face to your name. I guess the main thing is hats and gloves, good socks. It can be a cold time of year. Last year there was snow and wind, and as you can see, people are smiling because they remember that, and how wonderful that is, just to be still in that discomfort and to let that be. So of course, we want everybody to take care of themselves. So having good gear can be a good consideration. I'll have a car as well, so if you didn't bring the right hat or you need a different pair of socks, don't worry. We'll be able to get things for you. Certainly, if there's any medical conditions that might be of a concern for the cold, please let us know. We have a doctor on staff for any issues that come up. We have only 6 spaces left for our booking, and that's kind of a wonderful thing. We'll be a group of about 70 people, and so it's not too big where everybody will get to meet each other. I think one year there was 150 or so, and I think some of the feedback at that year was they didn't get to meet everyone. So I think we'll walk away during this retreat with a nice warmth of community that we're going to experience together. We meet Sunday night for a check-in in Krakow, and then we take a bus Monday morning to a wonderful place, the Dialogue Center, which is within walking distance. It's about a 15-20 minute walk to Birkenau. But we have a bus that will shuttle us back and forth each day. We have lunch served outside of the gates of Birkenau every day, which is a very nice experience to have warm soup every day is beautiful. The meals at the Dialogue Center are fantastic. Wonderful cooks there. And Saturday, we'll be taking a bus back to Krakow, dropping people off at the airport, as well as the train station, and then at the city center. So transportation to and from Krakow is provided. All of your transportation otherwise would be your responsibility, getting to Krakow and getting to the Kashmir's hotel where the check-in is on Sunday night. I can't think of any other logistics unless to comment right now, unless there's specifics. I would love to hear from anyone, but
Jim, I might ask a couple. As far as it being physically demanding in terms of moving around, and as well, if someone is disabled, how does that work out?
sure. We do have benches and chairs. We do have canes, and I think we have access to a single wheelchair. We can get more too. This is not a problem. So any type of facilitation that we can provide, we would need to know a little bit beforehand, but We do put out benches and chairs every day during our circle. We have cushions as well for meditation. So the circle on the selection track, you can help out, bring stuff out, but every day it's set up and we arrive and we can be very mindful about the space and yeah, and walking around the ground. It's a square mile. And so there is a bit of walking, but for the most part, it's a very gentle pace. I think on the first day of Birkenau, we have a tour guide, which is has a little bit more of a brisk pace, but it's not necessary to keep up really. Any type of dietary needs as well, we can adjust for gluten-free, lactose-free, vegetarian, vegan. Very easy for us to do that.
Please, anyone with a question or a concern or an interest, feel free to ask. This is a great opportunity. General, please go ahead. Yeah, I see you.
Just a little suggestion, and that is that if anybody has not yet made your reservations, if you're still considering whether you're going or not, when you make your reservations, I highly recommend you come into Krakow or Poland a day or two before, if you possibly can, because it's a big deal to get over jet lag, to get into the retreat. Krakow, the old city, is quite beautiful. There's more than enough to do in 2 or 3 days before you get there. Quite beautiful. And so I suggest you get there early if you can, if your schedule allows, and also to not fly out of Krakow on the day the retreat ends, because it's sort of like having put yourself into this deep plunge and then ejecting yourself immediately. And it's a shock to enter the world once again. So I'm just suggesting, if you've got the time, the flexibility, give yourself a day or two in Krakow after the retreat, at least one, before you fly out, so that you've had a chance to digest and integrate some of what you've experienced. And you can continue to digest and integrate for quite a while after too. But those are just my brief suggestions. Thank you.
Thanks, General. Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, Ko, there you are.
Sorry, Jeff, I was not here. I don't know if Roden told about, the care that we try to give during the retreat and even after. The last years, we always have this meeting after the retreat to listen people. And so, my sense is that the feeling of community, sometimes it starts at the retreat, but it lasts. We try to give the support and the care for people that goes there every year. So even during the retreat, the doctors and always have some support of any kind that is needed, just to remember.
Thank you. Yeah, and as some of you know who have participated, we maintain a WhatsApp group for participants and alumni, and I think at this point we have several going back a few years, and those groups remain active, and people are talking to one another all the time. Jim, I don't know if you want to add anything to
that. Yeah, I think we will schedule a council or a follow, maybe not a strict council, but a follow-up meeting after the retreat. We need to set a date for that. It might not be a date that works for everyone because it is a large group. But try to, I think I'll schedule that sooner than later so people can make plans. So it is a wonderful way to reach back after maybe 2 weeks after the retreat to connect again. The WhatsApp channel is very good. I saw today, Daryl, you were asking about accommodations in Krakow. Yeah. And there's plenty of Airbnbs. I stayed at one that was just wonderful. So I think you'll find plenty of opportunities for accommodations in Krakow. It's a beautiful city. I flew out, I think it was like 11 a.m. on Saturday after my first retreat. And I get on the plane and, I was in a middle seat and a little squeezed in. And like, I just wanted to like give everybody a hug on the plane when but after 8 hours, all of that was gone and I was back to, and it was too fast. It was too fast. It was too fast. It had to be more gentle than that for me. This will be my 4th year and I feel like I'm just getting to know it. But it has just I'm sorry I missed the earlier portion of this, but the retreat has changed my life quite a lot. And I'm very grateful for this and to be able to help facilitate it. So thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Daryl, I see your little hand.
My little hand is up.
Your little hand.
Oh, thank you to the speakers. I am just deeply moved, and I know I'm doing the right thing. And I just also wanted to say, if people are considering it, I did find Airbnb. I'm pretty sure the hotel, the Hotel Camiers is full. The dates that I did want to come a couple days early. So I guess my sense of looking for places to stay was, woof, I'm glad I moved now and didn't wait another week. So just passing that information on. And mostly, thank you so much for the opportunity to do this. And thank you to the speakers.
Thank you, Daryl. Wonderful. And, I didn't really check against the registration. If people could raise their hand, who is definitely planning on attending the retreat? Oh, great. So, yeah, wonderful. Aiden, go ahead.
I think that was just automatic from putting my hand up.
Oh,
When you did, I would just like to second what Daryl said and just offer a really heartfelt thank you to all that shared today. I came onto the call with lots of questions, and just by listening to all of you, all of my questions were answered. And I'm looking forward to taking the plunge with all of you.
that's wonderful. Thank you. That's gratifying too to know that we provided value here. Miko, now was that Zoom doing it, or is that you really have
It
something to
was
say?
Zoom, but I would like to remind you that 1 year I decided to take an alternative way of getting to Krakow from Finland. I took a boat to Tallinn and then tried to take a bus from Tallinn to Krakow. I got into the bus and they asked me my passport, and I gave my wife's passport, and needed to take a boat back to Finland and then take a flight next day. So just a reminder to take your own passport with you.
Take your own passport. Well, you got a boat ride out of the deal. So,
Yeah. And if you need a council facilitator or something during the retreat, I'm willing to do something while I'm there.
we'll let Fleet know. Yeah. Thanks, Miko. Anyone else? We have a few more minutes here, folks. Much appreciated that you've all stayed with us for the time. And we don't need to stay until the end of the time, but I want to make sure there's an opportunity. Mimsy, you feeling pretty confident?
Oh, I will be there. I wasn't sure for a while. It was so cold last year. And yet, listening to everyone today helps me to realize that that in these times when I can feel so powerless to really affect big change in the world, that gathering with you and having experienced the transformative qualities of being in Sangha at Auschwitz not only fills me with hope, but helps me to realize what a difference it makes. I had an experience over the weekend, and this goes back to what Genro had talked about, people who were homeless, living on the street, and I had first walked past someone, gave a little bit of a nod for someone who was living on the street, and then on the way back down the street, I handed a dollar to her, and I said, "How's your day going?" And then she had the opportunity to then tell me about how a friend of theirs who had been living on the street had died the night before, and then shared a picture, and then talked about the community that they have with one another. And so for me, and this will be my fourth time there, is Auschwitz just keeps inviting me to not turn away. And if I do turn away initially, to come back to being present, and to feel the love, the care, and the action that arises from that. Yeah, so I'm really, really looking forward to being there again. And I went out and got myself some very warm boots too. Thank you.
Wise. Thank you, Mimsy. Thank you. Well, let's pause for another minute to see if anyone else has anything, and if not, we can adjourn. Okay. Well, once again, my deep gratitude to Undine and Miko and Koho and Genro and David for such heartfelt and profound comments about this retreat. And anyone who's hasn't yet decided to join, I hope you do. I really hope you do. And if you can, if you need questions answered, you can reach out to Jim, you can reach out to me, and we'll respond to you right away with any concerns you have.